Hey guys, Mysterion here. So I thought I would talk to you about this new movie called Cuties and my opinion on it. Now, I watched this movie so I knew exactly what I was talking about when I make this voice recording. Now, it is a movie that was directed by Mayuma Juko, I think that's how you say it. And the movie is essentially about a Muslim girl who goes against her traditions and against her family and decides to go in a dancing competition with these women. Not women, girls. They're girls. They're not women. Now, and that's an important point. Um, so she goes into a dancing competition with these girls, and spoiler alert, she eventually wins the competition. Okay. Now, my issues with this movie is that there's so many. The fact that the way that the girls are dressed in this movie is absolutely disgusting. Some of the clothes that they are wearing in the movie are very tight and very revealing, and that's a problem. I feel as though an issue with this movie is the fact that it's sort of normalizing younger people in a sexual way, which is something we shouldn't have in society. I believe that children should be pure. They shouldn't be something that is objectified in any way whatsoever. I think that's completely wrong. And the movie does not at all show that they are pure. It shows that, um, you know, adult people are sort of, um, you know, traditional in a sort of way that is really restricting flexibility of children. That's what the movie sort of shows, I find. And, that's not really true. I think that adults are good because they are stopping you from doing dumb things. Honestly, my favorite character in the entire movie is the aunt. Because, like, at the end, she, like, straight up just cusses out the kid for, like, looking like I can't say the word on YouTube, but SLUT, that word. Because of the way that the kid is dressed. And I think for that reason, the aunt is my favorite character because the aunt would says the type of stuff that I'd say. Because it's ridiculous how they dress them in the movie. And the thing that makes this movie ever more disgusting, quite frankly, is just the way the camera is positioned. It zooms in on specific parts of the girl's body, and I think that's disgusting. It's absolutely abhorrent. Um, I don't know what purpose it serves to the movie other than showing that they're dressing skimpy, which is disgusting. Um, you know, I cannot fathom who would genuinely enjoy this movie. Um, I watched the movie and I overall thought it was disgusting. Really, I did. From the camera angles to the way the girls are dressed, I do not understand how this movie passed. Because you have to understand, each movie would be approved by a board, okay? How did this movie pass? It's a French movie, right? French is banning porn. How did this movie pass? This is so skimpy and so dirty, and to make it worse, it's about kids. I don't understand how this passed. It just doesn't make sense to me. And based on that, also, I would say, yeah, don't watch this movie. I wouldn't support this movie whatsoever. The only reason I personally watched it was because then I can talk about it. But honestly, the trailer is bad enough. Do not watch the movie, straight up. Do not watch it. It is, I think the movie goes for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It is a waste of time. It is, I know, even the story, I didn't really enjoy the story either. You know, I really didn't. And the scenes are just disgusting. Like there's a scene, straight up, there's a scene in this movie where like one of the girls, I think, finds like a condom and like straight up blows on it, like as like a balloon or something. I shouldn't swear. I'm gonna blurp that swear word out. And that is absolutely disgusting. There's no theme in that I can think of that isn't sex related, and that's what makes it worse. The fact that the only real reference it makes is sexual on that scene, which is disgusting. It is. It's really disgusting. And it gets even worse. It's not just one scene. The whole movie, there's multiple scenes that suggest sexual things. Like there's a scene at around the end of the movie where like they're doing a dance and then they're like humping the floor or something, and it is just disgusting. It's literally, there's no other way I can say it. It's the sexualization of children, and it is absolutely abhorrent. And I know I've been saying that a lot, and I know I might sound like a broken record, but we can't allow this stuff to be normalized in society, because if we allow it to be normalized, we are saying that it's okay for this to be a thing. Okay? I believe that there should be a standard. You know what? It's sad that we even need a standard, because it should just be obvious, I think. But honestly, I think we need a standard that says things like you cannot do this, and like one of the first ones should literally be sexualization of kids, because that's disgusting. I don't understand why this movie was allowed to go ahead, even in a country like France. This is ridiculous. So I want to show you the description of this movie. Cuties is not about a girl coming to terms with their sexuality. Sexuality doesn't factor in of her actions. It's about a girl coming to terms with her natural power and her immediate and potential lifelong lack of it. What? I just think that this movie is about, you know, a girl who thinks that her family is too strict and she decides to do something that would be totally against morals and her religion. That's what the movie is about in my mind. But the way in which it is taken is ridiculous, I think. There is other ways that you could have, filmed this movie without it being so suggestive. And that's the thing, it's a complete, I don't know, lack of awareness for, the ulterior motive of people that could watch this movie and what they could use it for. There are creeps that would watch this movie and, enjoy it for some reasons that they shouldn't. They would enjoy it for reasons that in society are frowned upon, and frowned upon for a good reason. It's the fact that this passed is ridiculous to me. And it sort of sets a dangerous precedent, I think, for the future. You know, the fact that this movie is on Netflix makes me think, okay, Netflix could approve of other movies that show worse than this, perhaps, or show equivalent to what this movie showed. And that's my other worry. I think it's not acceptable whatsoever, and we shouldn't allow it to be normalized. And as you can see, if you don't know already, there are so many people canceling their Netflix subscriptions, rightfully, right? Because quite frankly, that's the best way for Netflix to realize we've stuffed up, all right? Because if it directly affects their profits, okay, Netflix will realize, oh, we've made a mistake and we need to fix it. The cancellation of subscriptions is a good thing, because it means that Netflix can realize they've stuffed up. And you know what? My opinion of it is this simple. If this movie is trying to show rebellion, perhaps this is something that we shouldn't rebel against. I think it's a pretty good tradition to not exploit children, because you know children can't. Let's face it. Children struggle to think for themselves a lot of the time. Okay, and that's why I'm sort of against this movie. It just shows, a lack of awareness, and it shows, I think, the danger of that lack of awareness. And that's why we need to protect children, because lack of awareness can lead to this type of stuff, or it can lead to even worse type of stuff happening. And that's why I think it's a dangerous precedent for Netflix to approve of a movie like this, because then we're allowing this slowly into our society, and we shouldn't do that. And another thing I find very crazy about this movie is the rating. Okay, the rating is nuts. The rating for this movie is MA 15 plus. Okay, MA 15 plus, bro. The actresses in this movie couldn't even watch it. All right. Literally, the main characters of this movie, if they wanted to watch this movie, at least in Australia, they wouldn't be allowed to watch it by law. Okay. And I think that if that doesn't prove anything, I don't know what does. All right. Something is wrong with the movie. Okay. If the main characters, if they realistically wanted to watch the movie in real life, that they couldn't. All right, now doesn't that show that like something's wrong? Because at least in my mind it does. It should not be something that we normalize in this world. It is as simple as that, and I will not back down from that view. I cannot think, and I, you know what, I'm quite progressive a lot of the time, depending on what it is. And I'll be honest, I could not think of a logical reason why this is something that we need to normalize in today's world. It just, if you look at all of the cases we've had of child abuse in the world, if you look at the intent behind the child abusers, this is, in my opinion, this is adding fuel to that fire. That's all I see of this. It is literally, a pedo's dream to have a movie like this readily available. You know, anyone in the entire world, if this country, I don't know about the entire world. Whatever countries this movie is allowed in, I know in Australia it's allowed. You can watch it. The fact that this movie is available for anyone to watch, I think, is disgusting. It shouldn't be available to anyone. In fact, I don't believe this movie shouldn't even have been made in the first place. Quite frankly, it just doesn't make sense to me. Specifically, the angle of which the movie has taken. The depiction of children in this movie is abhorrent. And yeah, those are my views on the topic. I pray to God they don't make another movie like this or a sequel or anything like that. And yeah, that's my views on it. Leave your views in the comments. I hope you have a great day. See ya.